So yeah, thanks to John. I hope you agree that was a lot of information there and a lot of stuff that hopefully you can take away with you. As I said, we're going to be talking about some of the tactics and some of the common mistakes. So I'm Simon. I work at the Organic Agency in partnership with Joe. We're working in marketing for just about 9 years now. In the Organic Agency, I've just had my 3-year anniversary. Yes, I'm a senior account manager and strategist. And this is Joe.
I'm Joe. I'm a senior SEO consultant at Organic. I've been working in SEO for 7 or 8 years, I think. At Organic, almost coming up 3 years as well. And I've been involved in a lot of migrations over that time, from local, small, independent businesses right up to some of the biggest sites in the UK at the moment.
Yeah, just to say, when we sleep at clients' offices, it's Joe and I that does the sleeping at the offices. So let's start this off. Let's start by asking just a couple of questions. What if the Avengers never assembled? What if no one ever called the Ghostbusters? What if Elliot didn't help E.T. phone home? What we're trying to say is getting the right team together at the right time is so important.
Okay, so you've got project management. So they're going to be there to oversee the project, get everyone doing everything on time and as well as they can.
We've got developers. That goes without saying, developers are actually implementing those changes on the site.
We've got the content teams. So pretty much with any change you make, the content is probably going to change. So you need them involved so they know what they're doing.
Taxonomy. Some big companies might have a whole taxonomy department, some may not. If you have any URL or site structure changes, you're going to need somebody to looking after that taxonomy change.
And you've got the creative teams. So especially if it's UX, UI changes or full site redesign, the creative are going to be a big part of that.
So it looks like a good team, but it's missing a really important part. SEO! We chose Thor because he's the coolest one. SEO, hopefully you'll be able to add into all of those teams, give that insight into all those little bits and bobs and make sure that, you know, we're not going off track.
And the final one is the C-suite. So they have the ability to be your absolute best friend and help you push through anything you need to do. They also have the ability to absolutely smash whatever you want to do. So you need to get them on side.
Yeah.
Okay, so imagine, say, 50% of your site traffic comes from natural search and organic. And you are in the strategy and planning stages of a big site move. It's going to be fairly obvious you're going to want SEO in that room to protect that traffic because you are going to see changes. However, constantly, as SEOs, we're brought in after migrations have happened. And that's when you've already lost your rankings, you've already lost some revenue, and you're trying to ask us to help you get back to where you were. However, that can be quite a long, hard task to get to that peak that you were already at. So we've got sort of 2 ways to do it. We can help you reduce the risk from the outset and have a smooth transition with as little revenue lost as possible, or
we can come in and help start the long process of recovery. And this is going to be after you've lost things like traffic, inquiries, and ultimately revenue. I know which one I prefer. I think I know which one you'd prefer as well. Also, let's just remember, we're really friendly. We're here to help. We can make you look great. We can give you insight and data to really help you smash any meetings that you're in. All we want to do is basically work in harmony with you guys.
Yeah, so all we ask is to feed into your roadmaps, streams, multiple teams, and then when we know what you want to do, we can help feed into those changes that are being made. Changes such as URLs. Are the new URLs better than the old URLs? Are they optimized for best practice? Spiders. Can the new content and can your new site be seen by the spiders on the search engines that you actually want to rank on? And all the basic ranking factors like page titles, H1s, metadata. Is that all coded correctly and visible? Plus a list of about 1,000 other things. We have massive checklists, but obviously I'm not going to go through all of them because that's quite dry.
These are all really important, especially if you have any kind of e-commerce on your site. Ultimately, because the competition is so high out there, if you don't absolutely nail these technical pieces on your site, again, you're going to be risking losing that visibility, traffic, and revenue. As SEOs, that's in-house and agency, we also have access to some of the best tools out there. This is just a handful of the ones that we use. And these can help massively, both pre and post for testing and checking. We can also crawl the sites to get all of the data from all of the pages that you'd ever need, and just to help you any kind of data that you need going forward, and also for the planning.
And then post-launch as well, we can help with all sorts of things. We love going through data and spreadsheets, so we can do log file analysis to find issues with status codes, errors, crawler traps, all that sort of stuff. Help you understand and track Search Console, analytics data, rank monitoring. Basically, we've got probably a tool for everything you could imagine.
We're also, again, this is both agency and internal teams, we're really well placed to add appropriate resource as well. So let's say we've got some testing to do. Testing, in the best of times, is a manic and crazy time. We have got some really good people, really knowledgeable people, reliable and talented, to be able to do that testing and other multitude of myriad of things effectively. By having that dedicated resource there, it's going to help you speed through those things with as little lag time as possible and basically help you hit those timings. So we're going to have a look at some common mistakes. I think Joe's going to be looking at more of the technical things, and I'm going to look at anything kind of planning and strategy based.
So during a migration, redirects is really your big one. It's one of the main things that you've got to do, planning where all your old stuff goes and where you want it to end up on the new stuff. So this means capturing everything that you've got, not just main page to main page. You want to have all variations of that page. So over time, your URLs, you'll have several URLs that are effectively the same page. They all need to go to that one new one now. Any external and internal links that point to those variations may not be caught up in those redirects, and then you've kind of lost that authority. So think capitalization, trailing slashes in your URLs. Another one that we see quite a lot is not using the correct redirect status codes. So possibly during some A/B testing, you're using 302 redirects, which are temporary redirects. Then you go out to push it to live, and you carry on using that 302 temporary redirect. It's not ideal. Google won't look at it the same way. You want it to be a 301 generally, which is a permanent redirect, because you're telling them this is now permanently over here. However, you don't just need to rely on the redirects. On your own site, you have control over all of your internal linking. So don't just let them be caught up in all of the redirects. Change them where you can to go direct to the new ones, so you don't have to have that extra step that's just kind of getting in the way. With redirects, though, it's not all negative. You can, if you set up your redirects well to capture every variation, this means that you can unlock some of that lost authorities where you previously had some chain redirects going from one page to one page to one page to one page, or broken links, especially ones coming from nice high authority sites that over time have just got lost because you've changed things slightly. They can all get caught up back in that now, and you've suddenly gained a bit of an extra boost, which is nice.
With those additional links that have come back, any issues with previous penalties may always raise their head. So if you've ever had to go through penalty recovery, it can be a massive headache. And if you're having to look through any dodgy links that are coming back to you, creating that disavow file is not a great job. By doing this, that may inadvertently raise that head again. So what we have to do is make sure that any disavow file that's been previously created is added to your new domain as well. If not, all of that work could have been done for nothing.
So with rankings and visibility, when you're coming to track things, a big mistake that we often see is concentrating on one or two core terms that you think are your real big ones. You need to see rankings as an overview and use rankings as a guide. So looking too deeply into a one position drop on one keyword and thinking, why has that happened, why has that happened, you could be missing out on larger drops across a whole section of smaller keywords. So with that, you will probably see some volatility in the first couple of weeks. It's fairly unavoidable. That's why search engines going around and looking at all of the new changes that you've made. In some cases, however, visibility can go down and stay down. This is still considered a win if it's what you wanted, because what you can do is cleaning up what you rank for. So when you're cleaning up what you rank for and you're optimizing for new specific targets, these can be better keywords, better targets, better converting targets. And so then, even though your overall visibility's gone down because you're not ranking for this fluff, your new better converting keywords are giving you an actual rise in overall sales. So the trick there is knowing what to worry about and what you wanted to do in the first place. Okay, so another easily avoidable issue that you quite often come across during a migration can come from simple crawling mistakes. So this is where the search engine bots can no longer see the new site because of a fairly simple error. So this could be something, the inability to crawl the new launch site, the ability to crawl a staging site, which isn't ideal, robots.txt on your site not being updated and blocking the new URLs, your sitemaps not being updated or removing old sitemaps too quickly, canonicals on your new pages still pointing to the old versions of the page, not the new ones, and your no-index meta tags and stuff like that, which you've used during testing, not being updated for go live.
Well, let's say the change has happened. Site works well, site looks great. Everyone's giving everyone high fives and pats on the back. But then someone asks for a report, and there was no benchmark done before go live. There are tools out there that you might be able to get some data, what the site was performing as before, but depending on the nature of the change, they're not always that easy to use or accurate. So it's really, really, really important to make sure you've got that benchmark before any changes happen. And that can help you with finding any issues before they become a major issue. Basically, it can help you quantify what you've done and show the data behind the really great job that's happened.
Okay, so attached to that benchmarking, how are you getting your new current data? So is the tracking to any analytics programs you use, is it set up on the new site? Have you changed any of your goals and your events that you've had set up on the old tracking? A common one we see is for HTTP to HTTPS. It is a domain change, so you need to set up a new search console with it. A lot of the time that doesn't happen, and then 6 weeks down the line someone goes, oh, we're looking at that? Yeah, hang on, we need to set that up. So you need to make sure that Search Console is set up correctly, including the preferred domains, crawl rates for when it's coming through, and international targeting if you're international. Okay, so a successful migration will likely still see a couple of turbulent weeks. And the bigger the change, or the amount of change you've done, the longer that period can be. So what you need to do is we need to plan in when that's going to happen. You need to do it at the slowest time for your business. John sort of touched on this earlier, but yeah, you've got to go with your slowest part of time for your business. So a 5% temporary drop in visibility, that's not going to be a big deal if you're selling Christmas trees and it's February. However, that 5% in November and December could absolutely decimate you that year. And yeah, it could be a lot of sales.
Cool, so that's us. I hope it's been short and sharp, but I hope it's given you some bits and bobs. We'll be milling around, and Joe's going to be in the panel. But one thing I just really wanted to hit home is that us as SEOs, we're your friend. We want to be your friend. Talk to us. Just put us in the conversation. But at the very beginning is for the best. But if you've already started and they're not in there yet, get us in the room. Yeah, I hope everyone's found a little bit of information there that you appreciated. And yeah, just grab us afterwards. Thanks, guys.